Welcome to the fastest daf in town. Today on Masechtas Kiddushin daf Lamed Tes. We're going to begin on Lamed Tes Amud Aleph, about 7 lines from the top. So we were learning when it comes to the dinim of Arla. The question was, when it comes to its practice, it says that Chadash is asum in a Torah b'chol makom, Arla is halacha, and Kilayim is B'divrei Sefer. So we want to know, what does it mean when it says that Arla is halacha? So there's two opinions. One is that of Shmuel, that it's Hilchas Medina, that it's like a tradition. And Rabbi Yochanan says the halacha Moshe Sinai. So we're now going to continue. Amri Charife de Pumadisa. The sharp ones of Pumadisa, and Rashi says is referring to Ephah and Avimi, who are the children of Rechava in Pumadisa. They said the following: Ein Arla b'chutzarts. There's no such thing as Arla in chutzarts, and the Chiddush is even midrabanan. There's no Arla. So Shalch Rabbi Yehuda Kamei Rabbi Yochanan. So this was sent in front of Rabbi Yochanan, and Shalch Lei, and it was sent back that Sosum Sfeika, that they should conceal this halacha. This should not be publicized. But Abed Vada, and destroy Arla. V'hachriz al perusehen, and you should announce regarding its fruits, shetu'unin geniza, that it needs to be destroyed. B'chol oimer ein Arla b'chutzlarts, anyone who says that there's no such thing as Arla in chutzlarts, lo yehelo nin v'neched, they should not have any grandchildren, as the pasuk says, Masha chevel begarul kahal Hashem. So pretty strong language, as he went against the words of the Charifi de Pumadisa. So says Rashi that Sosam Sveika of Abid Vada. So what does that mean? Kolemer Sveiko Mutter Vada Aser. When it comes to a doubt, it's allowed. When it's something which is for sure, it's Aser. The Heter Sveika Tamayu. L'hayres B'hasna. It should be taught privately. Since we are lenient in this matter, so a person shouldn't publicize it. So you should conceal this particular halacha, and that's what it means by sasayim sfeika, that you should conceal this halacha when it comes to being meko, when it comes to safek. Va'abed vada says you should destroy that which is definitely arla. Hoyel v'hein makilin al tatir lehem l'safik zeh etzel zeh el abid oisim haperes biyadayim. You should actually destroy them, and again, you should announce that the fruits need geniza. Says Rashi, shel elu hamakilin ba. Those people who are lenient regarding these dinim, they should actually it needs geniza. Okay. Then the question is, so what is this strong machlokus over here regarding Arla? The inhu commands savruha. So who do these people hold like? Kiha, the Sani Belez Rabbi Yosi Omer Mishum Rabbi Yosi ben Dormaska, was said Shi Amar Mishum Rabbi Yosi Glili, was said the name of Rabbi Yosi Shi Amar Mishum Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri, Shomer Mishum Rabbi Eliezer Hagadol. Finally we got to the name over here. Ein Arba Chutzlarts. So we find that Rabbi Eliezer holds that there is no din of Arla in Chutzlarts. So it's not that they just made this up entirely, but that this din is something in which has support. Fact the Gemara below, you're telling me that Arla doesn't apply in Chutzlarts, but we learned Rabbi Eliezer Omer Afa Chadash. So the kasha is, how can you tell me that Rabbi Eliezer Hagadol holds that Chadash is not noying in Chutzlarts? He says Afa Chadash. So we see clearly that what ends up happening is that you actually are chayiv. So tani Chadash. You should just read Chadash. Says Rashi, v'lo tini af. Don't say also Chadash. Just say Chadash. V'hachi kamer. Arla v'kilayim, when it comes to Arla and kilayim, hari heim kishar hatulim ba'aretz ve'ein no hagan b'chutzarets av'chadash noig b'chutzarets. He holds that Chadash is noig. However, when it comes to the dinim of Arla and Kilayim, they're not noig in Chutz La'aretz. So Rabbi Eliezer holds that only Chadash is noyeg in Chutz Haaretz. Again, but Arla in Kalayim is only in Eretz Yisrael. So that's how you could read the Mishnah. So as we said before, he holds that there's actually a din halach Moshe Sinai when it comes to Arla, even out of Eretz Yisrael. Armele Rab Zerel Rabasi. So he says, Vosanya, we learn Suffolk Arla ba'aretz us. If you're not sure if it's Arla, if you're in Israel, we're very, very strict. Basuria, which is close by, is mutter. And Rashi says, V'i vada b'chutzor, it's halacha. If in fact it's a halacha Moshe Sinai, heich mizalzalinan b'seika. How can you go so lenient when it comes to a suffix that we're just going to allow you to do so? And then parentheses, b'chutzor tiyad v'loikit. So again, the kasha still is, how is it shaykh that we can say when it comes to a suffix that we're lenient? How can we be so lenient if it's a halacha Moshe Sinai? So Yishtaimim k'shachada, that he waited momentarily. Emelei ema kach nemar sveika mutter vadoy aser. This is what the halacha Moshe Sinai is. The halacha Moshe Sinai is that besafek it's mutter. However, when it's vaday arla, it's aser. So you can't say, how is it shayach and din deraisa, we can be so makel. That's goof of the halacha Moshe Sinai that we're makel when it comes to sveika. Ravasi Rav Yochanan loikin al kilayim devar Torah. He says that a person will get malchus for eating kilayim, or for the production of forbidden mixtures, and it says devar Torah midaraisa. So we have to understand what that means, devar Torah. Amrli Rav Eliezer Rav Yosi v'anan tanan hakilayim b'divrei seifrim. I thought we said it's only midarabanan. So kasha kan b'klei karim kan barchavas ha'ilon. There's two different types of levels of kilayim. One is the mixtures of forbidden things, such as grapevines with wheat and barley seeds. The other one is harkavas elon, actually taking one species of tree and grafting it to another tree. Kiddushin, the Shmuel, eschu kaisai tishmaru, you have to hold to my chukim. And it doesn't say ushmartem eschu kaisai. Instead, it says eschu kaisai tishmori. So that's mashma, my chukim, which are always asher ma'olim tishmrun. Chukim shechachakti l'cha kvar. Chukim that I always had from even before. Behem dechalo sarbiya kilayim. Your animals, you're not allowed to breed together from different species. Sanchol tizra, and also your seed. So ma behem decha Bahar Ba, it's clearly when it comes to the animals, it's talking about breeding them together. Bahar Kava. So too when it comes to the Isser, when it comes to trees, it has to do with grafting. So that is what it means. That's the Isser Deraisa. And the din is this derais, this din of Kilayim, or Kavas Elon, is taka a din of Kilayim, and it's even Chutzarts. The Elix is Sadcha. So I say your field. When it comes to Zroyim seeds and Chutzarts, says Rashi, Deklaya Karim, B'Chutzarts, Mishum, the Afki B'Loshin Zriya Kasav Sadcha. So it's coming to tell you, since it doesn't say this language except Sadcha, so it's coming to exclude when it comes to seeds. So that's not considered to be a din deraisa in Chutzarts. However, again, grafting is a din deraisa. Therefore, you're going to get malchus devar Torah. Rav Chanan, Rabbanan, Havi Shakli v'Azli b'Orcha. So they were on the road. Chazyuha lahu gavra de kazar zroim b'hadi adadi. They saw that there was someone who was mixing seeds among each other, which was an isser of kilai karim. Armali nesimar nishamte. So we should put him in cherem because being oivral divrei seifrim. Armali lo chavrisu. This is not very clear to me. Says Rashi, in hilchos kilayim mechuvarim lachem. V'su, furthermore, chazuhu lahu gavra, I saw the kadzar chitu sari be gufni. I saw him planting wheat and barley seeds together with grapevines. Armalei nesimar nishamte. So again, uchari should be put in cherem. Armalei lotzarisu. Is then another language that the long laws of kilayim are not very clear to me. Lo kaimul and Rabbi Yeshaya. Do we not paskin like him? The Omer ad sheyizu chita sa'ar b'chartzen b'mpoyos yad. It's called Shemar Brachos. That it's only when you take a wheat seed, a barley seed, and a grape seed, and you throw it and you put it in the same moment, that's when you're chayiv. So maybe this guy's not chayiv. Says Rashi Bidmia, the time of Rabbi Yishaya Yadana mehecha nafkale. I'm not really sure where he got that from. To be in Beis mini zerayim b'chartzen shlishi, that you need all three to get a foyos yad. So therefore, it's not so clear what the din is regarding this guy. Rav Yosef Ma'arev Biz Rane, so he would mix up these seeds, however, not in a vineyard. V'zorin, he would plant. So Omerle Abaye Vanan Tanan Kalayim B'Divri. So this is still a forbidden mixture, even if it's not. We're talking about Klai Zrayim. It's not considered Klai Karim in a vineyard, but it's still a mixture of seeds. Omerle Lo Kasha. Kan B'Klai Karim, Kan B'Klai Zrayim. It depends if you're doing it with grape seeds, and one is with just other forms of species. Klai Karim, when it comes to vineyards, and you have these different wheat together with a grape seed, the Eretz in Eretz Israel, such a stringency we have when it comes to in regard to Eretz Israel, that if you would create this type of mixture of Klai Karim, it's Asur B'Hana. But Chutzor now goes to Rabban. So therefore, since we're so strict when it comes to Klai Karim in Eretz Israel, that's Asur B'Hana, we're also going to say it's Asur and Chutzor. However, Klai Zerayim D'B'Aretz Lo Asur B'Hana, not that it's mutter, because it doesn't say Lo Sikdash. So therefore, we don't learn on Isser Hana when it comes to Klai Zerayim. So B'Chutzor it's now goes to Rabbanon. Therefore, the Rabbanon are not geyser. Question 5. Elu Kilayim Asur B'Chutzor Midiraisa. So what is the Kilayim that's Asur Midiraisa? So that's Harkavas Elon, Bain B'minai B'Shenu Minai. Now it's mixing up with grafting. And Klai Behema is also Asur Midiraisa. Klai Karim is D'Rabbanan, Klai Zrayim is Mutter. So again, this is the Chutzorets. Elu Kilayim Asur D'Rabbanan, which is Klai Karim, which Kilayim is Mutter, Klai Zrayim, a mixture of seeds. Hada Amar Rav Yosef Lambilsi. This is not a matter. The Amri Rav Zera Ginta de Beirav, that he planted a vineyard, a garden in the house of Rav. Mishari with Rashi's arugas and rows. My time la misham eruve kilayim. So it's a prohibition of kilayim. That's why they did it this way. So I can understand Iyashminan why you're bringing this down. It's coming to tell you as we continue on Lamed Testament Bays that we're talking about Arba Ruchais Haruga, that you have four in four different directions. Be'achas be'emser, which is Gemara in Shabbos as well on Pei Daled, and there's one in the middle. In other words, there's one in the four corners, and there's one in the middle. So then I would understand, says Rashi, that there's revach beinehem shel yinak zebazeh, that there's enough space that they're not getting nutrients from one another. Avishamina mina, we can derive from here she'asu l'zor kilayim b'chutzarts, that it's also to plant kilayim and chutzarts. Elohacha mishum noi, over here it's for a different matter. V'inami mishum tircha d'shamahi. So it's for other reasons that it's difficult for the shamish or for beautification, and therefore it's not necessarily a raya. Says Rashi v'hashta d'zar kol min barugal avadu. You put each one in a separate row. Lamishim kilayim. He didn't do it because of kilayim. Elshul hatriach hashamish. He didn't want to make it difficult for the person. Shahayil chahavi yarak v'akash min shut sarach lo ben sharhaminim. He wanted to make it much easier to be able to get, if he says, I want tomatoes, so there's a clear row of tomatoes, so it's easy to find as opposed to being all mixed together. Okay, so therefore, it's not necessarily a raya regarding the dinim of kilayim. Okay, weiter. Let's see the next Mishnah. It says the Masnisin, Kol Oisim Mitzvah Achas. So there's some nice agadat over here until the end of the parak. Anyone who does one mitzvah, Mativin Loi, it's good for them. Mrichin Loi, you have Richa Shamim, you have a long life. Of course, this is mashma even in this world. V'noichlas aretz, you inherit the land. which Rashi says is Olam Haba. V'chol she'eino oiseh mitzvah achas, you don't do a mitzvah, ein mativin lo, good will not happen to you, ein merichin lo yamim, you're not going to have a long life, v'neichlas ha'aretz. Okay. So, better do your mitzvahs. Says the Gemara. This is a list, a short list, of individuals who will be able to eat its fruits of the mitzvah in this world, and the Karen, the principle, that's like the interest, and the Karen, rather the principle, is kayemus olam haba, that remains, which is mashma only this we're about to see, which we say every morning, but nothing else. So again, this is a big problem because it's mashma from our Mishnah that any mitzvah, you're going to have good things going in your way in this world. So Rabbi Yehuda Hachakamer. This is how we understand our Mishnah. Anyone who does one mitzvah which is greater than the schus that they deserve, good will happen to them. It's like you did the whole Torah. So it's mashma, it sounds like even if you just did one over here, that would be enough, says Rashi. If you didn't do any other mitzvah, you've done so many sins. So how do this list of mitzvahs tip the scale? So Rav Shami Loimer tells you like this. If you're equal 50-50, machras, then it will outweigh it. That this one mitzvah will push the scales in your favor. So look at Rashi. These are the things, is the mechza avonos and mechza zechuyas. In other words, Kamer. V'yesh b'mechza zechuyah achas me'elu machras es akaf ki'ilu havi ruba zechuyas. V'en tzarech u'mitzvah yasera d'masnisin. V'chi leislei b'achad mahani tzarech u'mitzvah yasera. So let's say you did 50 mitzvahs and 50 sins, and let's say they're equal. But among this list is Kibbud Avim is among the 50, even though it's really 50-50, that outweighs it, and therefore you'll end up being a schus. But if you have 50 mitzvahs and 50 averos, and these things are not on the list, then you have to do another mitzvah for things to go in your favor. Or Binhu, Frek the Gemara. If anyone has more mitzvahs than averos, Marin loy, then Marian loy, it'll be bad. But Daimon Kamisha Sarv Kol Torah Kul, look like the entire Torah was burnt. But Lo Shir Memeno Afil Loisachas, not even a letter was remaining. The Chol Shabono says Merubin Misachah Yaisav, which is hard to understand. But if you have a lot more sins, then you did a lot of sins, great. Mativin Lo will do good for you. But Daimon Kamisha Mekayim Kol Torah Kul, it's like you kept the Torah. B'chisor Isachas, not Mimena, not a single word missing. So this seems very contradictory that a person's rewarded for sins. So Amar Abaye Masnisin the Abnin le Yam Tav v'Yam Bish, a good day and a bad day. What is that referring to? Says Rashi, Misha is a mitzvah Sarah dahavi rubis zechuyas. So Masachnin lo ba'oyam hazeh Yom Tov shenifrayin mimenu avoynaisav. In this world, you'll be paid back for the sins that you committed. V'zeh tikun Yom Tov lo olam haba. This will help you in the olam haba. Choshev v'nasam merubah. If let's merubah, you have a lot of sins. The katani marin loy hainu de abdin hazmanas yoim bish. The mishalmin loy sachar mitzvaysav kan lios masukano yoim ra. So you're gonna have an amazing olam hazeh, but unfortunately you're gonna have a horrible olam haba. This is a great philosophical approach as to explain why sometimes good things happen to bad people and vice versa. Why is it tzaddik v'ralo or rasha v'toivlo? It's because we're not just in this world. There's an olam haba, and therefore there's a whole other cheshbon which is really beyond the scope of our understanding, and therefore that's how we understand that. Rabbi Omer Hamani Rabbi Kivi Rabbi Yaakov the Omer Schar Mitzvah B'Hai Malaika, that there's actually no reward in this world. So says Rashi, when it says Mativan lo b'schar peros v'keren kayemes v'hach masnisne tani marin lo Rabbi Yaakov. Okay, You can have bad things happen to you because the reality is you're a big tzaddik, but you're not going to get rewards in this world. The sign Rabbi Yaakov Omer, there's no mitzvah in the Torah that there's no connection to Tchias Mason, which means that the reward that you're going to get is in Olam Haba, not here. Because, for example, when it comes to honoring your parents, it says, you're going to have a long life. When it comes to sending away the mother bird, also it says, you're going to have a great long life. Now, let's say a father says to his son, go to this building, and bring me some birds. The Olabir does this. The son listens exactly to his father. He sends away the mother bird, but not the Lasabanim. He takes the sons, which is exactly how you're supposed to do mitzvah Shilach HaKain. So he did both mitzvahs, in which in it is a Richa Shamim, and then he drops dead. So how do we find a Richa Shamim? It's referring to Olam Haba, because otherwise this could happen, and how do you understand it? So in fact, the Gemara, what do you mean? Maybe this can't happen since he did these mitzvahs. So Rabbi Yaakov Masachaza, Hitaka saw this, which because Rabbi Yaakov saw this is unbelievable. Because he saw this, he was able to reach the conclusion it has to be Schar Mitzvah Ha'amaleka. So if you see bad things happening in this world, you have to understand, because Hashem doesn't program that you're going to be immediately rewarded. Because if you're rewarded for your good actions, and a bad person gets punished for their bad actions, there's really no Bechir anymore, because everyone's going to see what happened, and of course they're going to do the right thing. So the reality is that it has to be, in order to have Bechir Chavshi, that there cannot be schar in this world. So that's how he answered. Maybe it's not true. Maybe a person does get mitzvahs. So how come this guy, he fell off this tree and he died? Because maybe he had a machshava ra. So machshava ra in HaKadosh Baruch Hu mitzvah l'maisa. Hashem's doesn't judge what we're thinking. It's only our actions. But that's not totally true. But that even a thought in our hearts is enough when it comes to Avodah Zarah. So maybe he had a hero of Avodah Zarah. So the Gemara answers, interestingly, Ihu nami hachikarmi. This is what he's saying. You want to tell me schar mitzvah b'hayalma, that there's actually reward in this world. So amaylu agin mitzvos alei. The Torah should have protected him, because he wouldn't come to such thought. But isn't there a concept that someone is doing a mitzvah, you're not supposed to get damaged? So how come in this situation, this happened, that this person got damaged? How do we understand this? And this is going to be TB7. TB7 asks the question on Lamed Tessamid Beis, Heichen lo amrin shluchim mitzvah in the zaken. So hasam ulichasam shani. So there's a difference between going and coming back. You already did it, so maybe on the way back you're not protected. Abaham Rebbe Lezer shluchim mitzvah in the zaken lo b'alichasam v'lo b'chazirasam. It doesn't make any difference going or coming. You're always going to be protected. So the answer is sulam ru'ua havi. Maybe there was a weak ladder. The kviya hazeka, and because there was a weak ladder, so that you will not be protected, because you cannot put yourself in a dangerous situation and expect Hashem to protect you. The whole hecha the kviya hazeka lo samchin anisa, and anytime actually when a person is put into a dangerous place, you can't rely on a miracle. As we saw before, the Yom Shmuel, Eich Elech v'Shemashal v'Har Gani. How could Shmuel said, how can I go and present myself in front of the king? Shaul is going to kill me. What do you mean? He wants to do a mitzvah. It doesn't make any difference. It says Rashi, V'afagav dibishlichusa demokim havi mistafi behazeka dekviya. Even though he's doing the will of God, it didn't make any difference. He can't put himself in a dangerous situation. Rabbi Yosef. If Acher, Elisha ben Avuya would have just understood this pasuk, then if he would have known this, Rabbi Yaakov Barbarti lo chata, he wouldn't have sinned. Perhaps he would have not gone out l'tarvas ra. V'acher ma'hu, what exactly did he see? So he saw the same thing as Rabbi Yaakov. But Rabbi Yaakov was able to reach the conclusion that Schar Mitzvah Maleka. Acher understood this to be problematic, and therefore because of that he ended up going to Torvus Ra. He saw the tongue of Chutzpah Samaturgaman, who among the Sarugi Malchus was killed, and Dahavi Gorule Davar Acher. A Davar Acher actually is a chazir, is a pig, was like rolling around with its tongue. Amr and Acher said, Peh, he peak Margolios Yolachech Afar Navachata. This tongue that went out and spoke jewels, all of a sudden, now this is what happens to it. So he was so appalled, and he said this cannot make sense, and therefore he ended up going off the derech. Question 6. Ma goram al-acher latzeis latarvus ra. Either again he saw this child doing the mitzvah kiyum av aim and shilach hakein, and nonetheless he died, or he saw the tongue of chutzpah samatorgaman. Rami Rav Toivi Bar Rav Kisna. Rav, he said, asked a question. Tanan, kol eisa mitzvah achas mativin loy. If a person does one mitzvah, it'll be good for you, which is asa in lo asa lo. Only if you do it, but not if you don't do it. Or minhi yashav lo avar avero. Let's say a person sat and just didn't sin. Nice and lo schar kaisa mitzvah. He gets the reward like he did a mitzvah. So why does it mean you have to do something, even if you prevent yourself from doing an avera? So amalei hasam kegain shabadavar avero yadav v'nitzalei mena. It doesn't mean you're just stam. It means that you had the opportunity to do an avera and you stopped doing it. Kihad Rab Chanina bar Papi. What happened? Tavatiyahi Martunisa. There was this matron, this woman, that approached him. Omer Milsa Umali Navshe Shechna Vikiva. And all of a sudden he was filled with all these boils. Avde Milsa, so she did something back. V'itase, and he was healed. Basically, he wanted to make himself look appalling so she would not want to be with him. But it didn't work because she was able to use a form of kishuf to have it removed. So he ran away. Tashabahu be bani, and he went to a bathhouse. The Havi island betraying, even if there was two people there, and he'll be Yomi, even if it was daytime, Havi mizake. It could have caused great danger. Rabbanan man natrach. He said, what protected you? Most people in that circumstance, in that dangerous bathroom, are liable to be damaged. How did you not get damaged? So Amr lahu, he said, as we continue to Mem Amad Aleph, Shnei Noise Kesar. There were these two noble people of the Caesar. Shimaruni, they protected me, Kohalai all night. Which, of course, they weren't really soldiers, but they were malachim. So Amrulay Shema Devar Avera Bal Yadchav and it's Salte Mena. Probably the reason why you're protected is because you had an avera, but you decided not to do it. Tetanina Kol Haba Devar Erev Aliyadai Venitzal Mena Asalines. Anyone who is in this circumstance and he does not sin, then miracles will occur to you. We're going to stop there. Let's look at TA6. So the Gemara said, Kol oisim mitzvah achas mativin loy. Ma kavana mitzvah achas, ve'ech misyashev im habraisa shimarin loy. So the kavana is mitzvah achas yisera al zechu yosef. So this is TA6. So it means one more Kol ha'oisa mitzvah achas Yisera al zechu yosef mativin loy. That's what it's referring to. And when it's the kavana mativin lo l'ter terishon she'al yidei shemarin lo haza oisin masakin lo yom tav l'olam haba, which again is the drush of yom tav and yom bish. That's what it's referring to. And then furthermore, the brisa that says marin lo is commandier mischar mitzvah by Bahai Alma Leka. So those are the two possible answers to this question. Adkan.